Hello, I'm Roisin Ni Chleirigh with the Irish Political Roundup, and I am joined by another great senator, Senator Tom Clonan. Our people living with disabilities, from children to women to mothers and to even men and older generations of senior citizens of people living with disabilities forgotten about.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say this, but Ireland is one of the worst countries in the European Union to have a disability. And essentially, we're the only country in the European Union, including Britain, that has no legislation to give rights to disabled citizens. No right to treatment, no right to personal assistance, no right to income supports. So their experience here is quite poor. And, that's for historical reasons and also for cultural reasons. It's shameful, and we've a lot of work to do in that area, but we will make progress.
We're the first country to actually do this and do that in the world. So why are we not the first country to look after the most vulnerable people in our society with people with disabilities?
I don't know. I've had a long time to think about it. Like, we've had 23 years of it in our family. Part of it, I think, is our history. Unlike other European states, from independence, I suppose, governments outsourced caring roles to religious orders, and those religious orders no longer exist. And instead of the state stepping in, as they have in other jurisdictions, and providing legally mandated supports and services for disabled citizens, it has been outsourced to private for-profit companies, care providers, nursing homes, congregated settings that are for-profit, with all of the problems and the suboptimal outcomes that we're aware of in that regard. And to a large extent, the state has left it to families to support disabled citizens. And that was evident in the wording of the constitutional referendum that the government very carefully drafted to give constitutional expression to the idea that the family is the exclusive responsibility for care supports in the community. And thankfully, the Irish people, the great Irish public, rejected that wording because they knew what it meant, and the Irish people want to give disabled citizens socio and economic rights, but government will just have to be pushed in that direction, because our governments are quite conservative when it comes to disabled rights. They don't want to give those rights because they feel that there will be a cost involved, which there will, but it's not a huge cost, and it would make such a difference to the lives of disabled citizens and carers.
We've heard since the last general election that there's money galore, that there's money here, there's money there, but there doesn't seem to be going money to the most vulnerable people of our society, like disabilities.
Yeah, well, for sure, disabled citizens in Ireland experience higher levels of enduring poverty than any other group in our society. Higher levels of homelessness, isolation, loneliness, poor health outcomes. And, some simple steps the government could take, for example, would be to remove means testing for disability allowance. That should be a universal, non-means tested payment. And that would actually encourage more disabled citizens to go into the workplace, because at the moment they're terrified of losing their medical cards and their housing assistance and so on. And we have the lowest participation rate in the workplace in the OECD for disabled citizens and in the European Union, which is, again, is shameful. And that would be a simple step the government could take to help disabled citizens. And again, not an expensive or outrageous expenditure, but it would make, again, such a huge difference. And the same for carers allowance. That should be a non-means tested universal payment.
Thank you, Senator Tom Clonan, for taking the time to speak to us on the Irish Political Roundup.
Thank you.